Okay, we are live on Facebook and YouTube. Good morning, friends. Let's get the Instagram feed up and running. Here she comes. Come on in, Instagrams. This. And now. So over the weekend, I accidentally had my first viral video, and weirdly, I don't think it was about the video. Good morning. This is the Daily, the morning report from the Working Actor NYC. Turns out actors have a lot of unresolved audition trauma. I don't think that's a surprise to anybody. Good morning, friends. It has been a super interesting weekend over here at the Working Actor NYC. So I had posted a video in which I made a very short introduction. If you haven't seen it, I made a very short introduction saying, please tell me you've seen this. Is this real? And then a repost of a video in which an actor is finishing up a Zoom audition. And at the end of the audition, he says, great, thanks for your time. He goes to turn the camera off, but the casting director hasn't turned their microphones off. They haven't put themselves back into the central room and put the actor back into the waiting room. And so the actor can overhear them saying, so what did you think? And the client says, I like him, but he does remind me of Human Shrek. And the actor goes, yeah, I've gotten that one before. And they're like, oh, sorry, oh my God. And that's the end of the video. Very short, interesting, and it provoked a lot of comments from those who say, oh my God, he handled that so gracefully and he doesn't look anything like Human Shrek. I mean, I can sort of see it. And then other people who was like, that's not real, that's a fake. So for what it is, hi friends, this is the Daily, the morning report from the Working Actor NYC. So that's the anatomy of my first viral, for me, video, which, to be honest, I'm not going to get that excited about. And I'll tell you why. What I did was essentially repost somebody else's video. This funny experience that happened to somebody else. But I thought it was relevant because it's about a crazy live audition experience. And that's what we talk about here at the Working Actor NYC. Normalizing these experiences that have these ridiculous things that happen to us. And so I felt like it was worth reposting and worth starting a discussion about. I just had no idea that so many were going to find it interesting. So the reason that I think, so I can see why it went viral for me. I can see that it speaks to a common experience that we have, which is we walk out of the room and people talk about us, and it's weird. To get to eavesdrop on that conversation is can be traumatic. It can be funny. It can be a test. I think we all recognize that sort of audition trauma. And for me, the format of the video is not going to be something that I try to replicate because it's not my content, and when it's not my content, it doesn't translate into building a community. I got it had over 20,000, nearly 25,000 views on Instagram, over 80,000 views on Facebook, and it translated into, on Instagram, that 25,000 translated into 3 follows. Do you know what I mean? So they weren't people who are going to become part of our community. So that was interesting to me. Hey, good morning, friends. This is the Daily, the morning report from the Working Actor NYC. Thanks for joining me. So I'm just analyzing this viral video that I had over the weekend. And I just sort of thought it was interesting, that repost scenario is not going to become a format that works for me. But I think what is interesting is that common thread that we all have about the crazy audition experiences that we've been through. Um, Having people talk about us when we leave the room, but then we get to eavesdrop on it or we hear something about it. I don't know. There's something there. So it's, I was wondering if this actually becomes the format. Please share your crazy audition stories. And in fact, hit me up in the comments and let me know if you've had a crazy audition experience so that we can share it with everybody. This wasn't a crazy audition experience, but it was interesting to me. I completely embarrassed myself at my first audition in New York City. Bear in mind, this was over 25 years ago, and I had brought with me from Australia a stack of headshots. I was way too poor to be able to afford to get new headshots when I landed in New York City. So, I mean, it may well have been at the time when everybody was switching. This is really aging me. I can't believe we're going to share this. It may well have been at the time when we were transitioning from black and white headshots to color headshots. And I certainly could not afford to get new headshots at that moment. And so I did not have a color headshot. I had a black and white headshot. And so, of course, there's a difference in size between a headshot, which is 8 inches by 10 inches, and a sheet of paper that you print your resume on. And what we do is we staple the photograph to the resume. Wait, do you staple the photograph to the resume or do you staple the resume to the photograph? You tell me. I'm dying to know. What am I doing? And then you trim the excess off of your resume. At my first audition in New York City, I didn't trim the excess off my resume. I stapled them together as requested. And I went off to this audition and I handed in my headshot and resume. And I noticed that everybody else's resumes were trimmed to the size of their photograph. And I remember thinking, oh, that doesn't matter. Nobody's going to care about that. And then I get there to the audition and everybody else's is trimmed. And I was like, oh, I guess they're going to care about that. Oops, my bad. But then, okay, so embarrassing, lesson learned. Okay, these are the war stories. These are the ways that we learn how to do things. We get embarrassed about it and we fix it and we move on. But then the other thing, I remember this so distinctly. So it was like a tiny little black box production of Godspell. Weirdly enough, there was a very famous production of Godspell at that time, directed by Danny Goldstein and starring all sorts of stars of tomorrow. This was not that production, but they must have happened at almost identical times. So I auditioned for this tiny little black box production of Godspell and sang the opening, "Prepare ye the way of the Lord, prepare ye the way of the Lord." And I remember the director saying to me, "That's great. Now do it again, but this time sing it as if you were invoking all of the mysteries of the universe." And so I sang it exactly the same way. I was like, what sort of bull crap note is that? It instantly made me think, this is not a director that I want to be stuck with for the next 8 weeks or whatever. I don't know. Did I read that wrong? Please tell me if I read that wrong, because it made me giggle, and I was just like, I'm out. So that was my first audition in New York City. They got better after that, and to this day, if I have to hand in a headshot and resume, which is getting, let's be real, which is getting more and more rare, that resume is trimmed beautifully to the headshot. So, but what I was thinking was is that we are going to be filming our live podcast this weekend, and I was wondering if we invite people to share their Hey, friends. How you doing, Max? If I invite our community to share their uh, embarrassing, weird, ridiculous audition stories, let me know what you think of that as a topic. I do not speak Portuguese, Max. I'm so sorry. Uh, but please let me know what your crazy audition stories look like, because it was just interesting to notice the excuse me, vestiges of the cold. And of course, I was being a voice actor all weekend. I had a really fun experience this weekend. I do this gig every year where I am the announcer for dance recitals. Uh, Dance recitals for my friends. Downtown Dance Factory is a dance studio in downtown Manhattan, and I love it. I just love it. Watching all of these young performers get on stage, sometimes for the very first time. It's always interesting watching the choreography and what the different choreographers have given the higher level competition teams to do. I just really enjoy it. There's a hugely infectious energy about it, and then of course the tutu tots, the Indian first graders. Oh my God, the Indian first grade break dancers. It's life. It is genuine infusion of life watching these Kindi and first graders do their break dancing on the stage for the first time. It's super joyful. And I had such a great time this weekend. But of course, I have to do all this announcing. And now, welcome, please, Miss Elizabeth's Tutu Tots to the stage, doing all of that announcing over a cold. But it's on its way out, so we're good. All right, friends, let me know if you have crazy audition stories. Record them into a little video, preferably under 2 minutes. Send them over to the Working Actor NYC, and we'll include them on this weekend's podcast if that's what we end up doing. All right, friends, remember, wherever you are in your career, whatever you're working on, you got this. Keep going. And I'll be right back here tomorrow at 8 a.m. Join me then.